Part 4. The Architecture of Cooperation. Chapter 10. Trust Beyond Kinship. Imagine ordering a book online. You enter your payment information, click a button, and wait. A few days later, the package arrives. The transaction feels ordinary. So ordinary that most people scarcely notice it. Yet beneath the surface lies something remarkable. You trusted that the seller would send the book. The seller trusted that payment would be honored. The delivery company trusted its systems. The bank trusted the transaction. Countless strangers participated in a cooperative process without knowing one another personally. And somehow it worked. This is one of civilization's great achievements. Human beings have learned how to cooperate far beyond the boundaries of family and tribe. For most of human history, trust was largely personal. People trusted relatives, neighbors, members of their immediate community. Trust grew from repeated interaction, reputation, direct experience. The circle was relatively small. As societies expanded, a challenge emerged. How could cooperation extend beyond direct personal relationships? How could strangers exchange goods, honor agreements, work together, invest together, govern themselves? Without some solution to this problem, civilization would remain limited in scale. The answer was not a single invention. It was a collection of cultural, legal, institutional, and moral developments that gradually expanded the circle of trust. Human beings learned how to trust people they did not know personally. Not completely, not blindly, but enough to cooperate, enough to trade, enough to build, enough to create societies far larger than any village. Seen from this perspective, trust is one of civilization's most valuable resources. Like energy, it enables work. Like infrastructure, it connects people. Like capital, it compounds over time. The difference is that trust exists primarily within relationships. It is invisible, yet its effects are everywhere. Consider what happens when trust is present. Contracts can be shorter. Transactions can move faster. Institutions can operate more efficiently. People can make plans extending far into the future. Cooperation becomes easier. The social machinery of civilization functions with less friction. Now consider the opposite. Imagine a society in which nobody trusts anyone. Every promise requires verification. Every agreement requires extensive monitoring. Every interaction carries suspicion. Every transaction demands protection against deception. The result is not merely inconvenience. The result is a dramatically higher cost of cooperation. The entire system slows down. Trust acts as a kind of social lubricant. It reduces friction. It lowers transaction costs. It allows human beings to coordinate their efforts without needing complete certainty about one another. This is one reason economists, historians, and sociologists repeatedly identify trust as one of the hidden foundations of prosperous societies. Yet trust is not simply an economic phenomenon. It is also a psychological one. Human beings are more willing to cooperate when they expect others to cooperate. They are more willing to contribute when they believe others are contributing. Trust often becomes self-reinforcing. Cooperation generates trust. Trust generates cooperation. Positive feedback loops emerge. Unfortunately, the reverse is also true. Distrust can become self-reinforcing as well. When people expect deception, they become more defensive. Defensiveness reduces cooperation. Reduced cooperation increases suspicion. Negative feedback loops emerge. Once trust begins eroding, rebuilding it can be difficult. This helps explain why trust often takes years to build and moments to damage. Trust is not merely information, it is an expectation, a belief about future behavior. And expectations can change quickly when confidence is broken. At the level of civilization, trust becomes institutionalized. People may not personally trust every banker, judge, doctor, engineer, or government official. Instead, they trust systems, professional standards, legal frameworks, regulatory structures, reputational mechanisms. Institutions become containers for trust. They allow cooperation to extend beyond direct personal familiarity. This realization reveals something important. Many of the institutions surrounding us perform a function that is easy to overlook. They reduce uncertainty. They help strangers predict one another's behavior. They create expectations, and those expectations make cooperation possible. Trust does not eliminate risk. It makes risk manageable. The relationship between trust and civilization becomes especially visible during periods of breakdown. Financial crises, political instability, corruption scandals, institutional failures. In each case, the immediate problem often appears specific, yet beneath the surface, another problem frequently exists. Trust has weakened. People no longer believe the system will function as expected. And when trust declines, cooperation becomes harder to sustain. A pattern should now be becoming visible. In Part 3, we explored how stories create meaning, how shared belief creates social reality, and how shared identity creates belonging. Now we encounter the mechanism that allows these realities to function in practice. Trust transforms shared meaning into cooperation. It allows strangers to act as though they are participating in the same social world. Without trust, civilization remains small. With trust, civilization can scale. This may be one of the most remarkable facts about human history. Modern civilization depends upon countless acts of trust occurring every day. Most of them pass unnoticed. People drive on roads trusting that others will broadly follow the rules. Patients trust medical systems. Consumers trust supply chains. Citizens trust institutions. Investors trust contracts. Employees trust organizations. The extraordinary complexity of modern life rests upon these invisible expectations. Closing orientation. Trust is one of civilization's hidden foundations. It cannot be seen directly. It cannot be manufactured instantly. It cannot be imposed entirely through force. Yet without it, large-scale cooperation becomes extraordinarily difficult. Trust allows strangers to work together, institutions to function, markets to operate, societies to endure. The story of civilization is, in part, the story of expanding trust beyond kinship and direct personal relationships. To understand civilization, we must learn to see trust not merely as a personal virtue, but as a civilizational resource. If trust allows cooperation to extend beyond family and tribe, another question emerges. How do societies preserve knowledge, norms, and expectations across generations? How does civilization remember? To answer that question, we must explore one of the least visible, yet most important functions of institutions: their role as social memory.